Um, so the center has three main components, and that is why there are three gentlemen working on this project. Um, for you that have been working on data science, you know very well that we should not disentangle academia from industry and innovation, harnessing what is happening in AI, not only in hardware, but also in software. And those three components are represented by these individuals. Brendan McGinty is the director of the industry program at the National Center for Supercomputing Applications. This is the largest industrial program in the planet. So we have connections to Fortune 50 companies right on the table. Vlad Kindratenko, he is faculty in computer science and electrical and computing engineering at NCS at the University of Illinois. And at NCSA, he leads a group on innovative systems lab, basically cutting edge hardware and software infrastructure for artificial intelligence. And I have been working on a number of projects harnessing AI and innovative computing for a number of disciplines, as I will discuss in a little bit. And my mission is to bring all of these elements together to advance AI research, but also to incorporate students into these programs. We want them to be, front and center with the needs that they may encounter if they want to stay in academia or if they want to go into industry. We want them to be completely prepared for the challenges that they will face. So this is represented in this slide. If you see on the left, there we have a number of applications that we're doing in our center, which I see as a hub for translational AI research. We work with physicists, particle physics, you see that at the bottom left. We work with people in the healthcare sector. We work with people studying agriculture. We're in the Midwest, so agriculture is a big topic here. We have astronomers. My background is actually in theoretical astrophysics. Um, and all the fields across this rainbow. Um, as you may know, we are also interested in harnessing large-scale infrastructure like supercomputers that I will show in the next slide. Now, in the center, bottom center, you see an image of industrial applications. The key goal that we have here is we're going to advance AI research, but we will make a conscious effort to translate that academic innovation into economic and industrial benefits. We are not doing one without the other, and we also want to do or establish a virtuous cycle in which academic experts interact with industry leads, we learn about their challenges, and then we incorporate those needs into our curriculum so that the students go and have internships with these companies. They apply their skills that are top notch, but then they realize that they are not that good, that they are missing some skills. And so when they go back, they tell us, I had some fun, but I really don't know how to do this. So let's incorporate that in the curriculum. And then we also have a number of initiatives to train students. What we have encountered when we select the students to participate in our research teams is that they know the theory of AI and machine learning very well. They can recite everything you ask them, but when you tell them, okay, here is a data set that we want to mine, and this is the knowledge we want to extract from the data. How would you go about this? Well, now they don't know. So we have hands-on AI tutorials every week in virtual mode now due to COVID. And we also organize through these semester-long programs, we organize hackathons that are funded by NVIDIA. And so over the weekend, we pose some problems to the students suggested by faculty members, and then we allow them to go and show off their skills. And surprisingly, these kids come up with some really innovative solutions. And they also walk away with a very fancy GPU in their hands. So it is a beautiful program. And it is a win-win situation because as a faculty member, when you want to recruit a student, you want an independent student. And it is through these hackathons that we see a reality check. I don't care about a beautiful CV, I want to see your skills. And here is how we get to select students. Now, a few things that I am particularly leading have to do with applications of AI in physics and medicine and agriculture. We have been demonstrating how to harness a National Science Foundation and DOE infrastructure to advance AI in physics in particular and astronomy. And we have been really good at securing competitive NSF and DOE grants on harnessing the data revolution. This program has been quite impactful, and here you have some eye candy for recent accomplishments. But let me just uh, go back to reality check, okay? When we attend these conferences and we talk about these nice accomplishments harnessing AI and extreme scale computing for big data experiments, there is a common trend that I encounter with my colleagues. When you present these results to your community, for the most part, people uh, do not ask the right questions, right? The questions are not, oh, that's really interesting. How do you train your algorithm? How do you interpret the results of your algorithm? Usually, the first reaction you get is, I don't believe you, right? And why am I saying this? Well, it seems that now, in addition to training your students with AI skills, you also need to give them some emotional and sociological support. And there are different ways to interpret this. Scientists are just humans. And some conversations that I have had with colleagues across different disciplines are or show the same pattern. People have been working on projects, big projects for decades. They have had a hard time developing algorithms, and they have a well-funded program by NSF, DOE, NIH, and suddenly a new generation of scientists are presenting these disruptive solutions, and they are not welcome. And actually, it is difficult to go past a basic conversation about how these algorithms can advance science. And then the conversations are not about scientific progress, but about personal issues. So this is something that has transpired in many disciplines. I am contacted almost every month by journals who tell me we are having a hard time with reviewers because when we receive papers, they don't focus on the science but on sociological issues. Okay, so this is something that the students should be aware of. And I'm telling you this because some of the students I have trained over the last several years, when they go to internships in Google, in Microsoft, in NVIDIA, they go back and tell me, in Google, for example, to say one name, I developed a patent over the summer internship. There is an army of lawyers that go and do all the paperwork for the patent. And that's it. I continue writing codes, I continue advancing my field, and I don't have to deal with reviews that last for months. So really, I don't see the need of having this struggle. I prefer to stay in industry as opposed to going back to academia. And I am telling you this because sometimes in forums like this, there is this common question. We are losing students to industry. There is a depletion of AI talent. How can we solve that? Well, the answer is, are we losing students or are we pushing them out of academia into industry because we have a hostile environment or innovators? Um, so that's something that you really need to discuss in your department when you go and talk to people who want to incorporate data science in whatever field they want, as the very nice talk that we just listened to, or in astronomy, in physics, whatever discipline, are we really to start incorporating data science? Are we sociologically prepared for this transition? And that is related to this nice figure that shows the amount of expertise available in the planet to do AI. And there you see the other problem. Everybody is excited about AI, but there is a clear digital divide, right? So this is going to be another big challenge in the next decade or so. There are some portions, even in countries like the US, where there is a clear digital divide. And we need to work hard at making sure that everybody is on the same frequency, trying to catch up, to be on the same page, to really take advantage of all the um, amazing advancements that we have in industry and technology and in education. So these are the things that you need to discuss with your colleagues. When we are preparing the next generation of practitioners, we need to make sure that when we go up and talk about data science, we start asking the right questions. What is the advantage of this algorithm over traditional algorithms? How can we improve this algorithm? Is this the right solution for what I am doing? Or I can solve that with traditional techniques. I mean, AI will not solve all the problems, and it doesn't have to. It has to solve some specific problems very well, and that's a win, right? We don't have to replace everything. We need to be smart about that. And so to try to reach out to a broad community, at least here at University of Illinois, as I said, we provide weekly hands-on training programs. We teach students how to use hardware that is tailored for artificial intelligence. We teach them how to apply um, now well-known techniques that computer scientists use and how we can apply those into more complicated scenarios, how to process experimental data sets, how to interpret the results of neural nets, how to incorporate interpretability, uncertainty quantification in these models. And we are also trying to reach out to other communities. For example, we go to conferences like the American Astronomical Society meeting and co-locate a workshop there. And here you can see this image to the right. We had some modest expectations about the reaction of this sector to AI, and they ended up providing an overflow room because the appetite for this was really big. And following good practices, we provide all this information, the software and the instructions to use the models open source, so that people don't have to recreate the wheel. And in this upcoming AAS meeting, we are also doing this, providing access to AI, or in different words, we want to democratize access to this knowledge. And this is open to everyone. If you have time, every Monday at 11 a.m. Central Time, we also encourage everyone to attend this AI seminar series. Here we have experts across domains that talk about how they are using AI to advance their research domain. And we have experts not only from the US. Next semester we will have speakers from the Alan Turing Institute in the UK, um, from the Helmholtz AI Cooperation Unit in Germany, industry leads from NVIDIA, IBM, and other companies that we invite. So if you want your students to know what these people that recruit new personnel in companies want to see in a CV, just encourage them to attend. And this is how I want to finish the presentation. I think this is an ongoing program for many of us. We are really interested in adapting or incorporating data science into our curriculum. Well, the story goes well beyond that.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is definitely something that I would co-sign and also heed. This is something that we put in the workbook. In fact, page 6 is you need to start meeting with people right up front, because if you wait to the end, you're sunk in these problems because no one will hear you out unless they've been a part of it from the beginning. So really, taking in this idea that data science as well as AI uh, is a is partially a teaching process, even if you're in the technology business. You're in the process of teaching others, no matter, just by default because it's so new. So it is 12 exactly. If people have to go, they can. If you want to stay or ask questions of the speakers, we have a few more minutes. If there are questions in the Etherpad, I'm going to ask the speakers if you have links, particularly to the links to your weekly seminar, or even some of the data about workforce, about AI workforce. If you know where that is. If people ask questions in the Etherpad, if you're willing to take a look and put those things in there, that'd be great. But I'll open it up now if anyone has any questions, but those that have to go, feel free as well. And if one of the speakers has to go, thank you as well. So are there any questions for this? I have one.
I do have one. Yeah. Do you have a list, or do you, or does everyone, mind sharing the contact information, like a list of the people attending the seminar or the webinar?
So did you see the link to the Etherpad? It's in the chat. So if you click on that link, I think people have put in their information where they are, so you can reach out. If you're comfortable putting your email in there as well for others, you can do so. We take those Etherpads down after the end of today, and then we consolidate the information and links into what would be a resource guide. So you can come back to it anytime today and take links out, or we also will link them and the video of the presentations on the South Big Data Hub website. So we can put that website on the Etherpad as well. So it's just southbigdatahub.org. And every month we will post the presentation videos and a link to a cleaned or taken down, not live Etherpad. So we take people's emails off, but if you want to put your emails in for the people who are here today, feel free. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I did have a question for Elieu. When you're doing this, do you have a process, like a formal process that you take people through? Have you like a formal framework for how to scope and go through these problems with AI specifically? So for instance, we talk about doing stakeholder meetings, but do you actually have them the students talk to the stakeholders, or do you just try to help them scope the problem, like walking them through it yourself?
For some of the opportunities that the students have within the center, usually the workflow is as follows. They reach out to an industry representative, they discuss a problem, and then we discuss this with students affiliated with the center. And then those that have the best skills to tackle the problem, they start participating. And this is very effective because these companies are very excited about the skills of these students, and they go to the point of saying, I'm really excited about what you do. I'm going to pay your GRA for the following year. And so that way students have more time to participate on these projects, and they, and this is the catch, they overlap very well with their research. So they are not distracted by working with these companies. They actually are finding venues or opportunities to apply their skills in similar topics.
Okay, all right. So you have students that are working in similar topics. Well, that's interesting. So, where I'm just interested in how, but do you have faculty that are participating in the problem scoping part, in general, to make sure that they're.
That's right. Yeah. So that is one of the main conditions, that faculty that have teams are in the center, and they provide their expertise, their interests, and when there is a topic that attracts their attention, then they can participate. And also another important angle here is when researchers are interested in data science but they don't have the students, that is when they suggest topics for hackathons, right? And then the students that perform really well, then now they are absorbed by the faculty leads, and that's how they start building up their teams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That makes sense. You were talking about, the independent student. And so that's one thing we've found is, students are independent, but getting that intuition about what problems to do and when to do them is the part that takes some process. So that's where we've been focusing as well, to get them to that stage of independence for doing project scoping. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you again to the speakers. Thank you for giving your talk, and for everyone that were able to attend. Yes, they appreciate you for coming, and hope to see you in December. And we will look forward to your feedback. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics we will be thinking about next year, and sometime in the spring. So if there are other types of topics, we're interested in hearing those to think about what speakers you may want to recruit past 2021. All right. Our next, we're actually out until June of next year. We have speakers on these topics, but I mean, after June, we have new topics. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good Friday. Happy Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.